To me, whenever you feel beautiful, you just feel confident. Whenever you have those skincare concerns that are addressed, you just radiate and exude that confidence, and you can move throughout your life with a sense of confidence and just holding your head up and just living to the fullest without having to feel shrunken in, insecure, or always thinking about that specific concerns.
Welcome to the Beauty Talk podcast, where we feature how the best medical practitioners help their patients to look better, younger, and healthier. Now, enjoy the show, and here's your host.
Daniel Gao here. I'm the host of Beauty Talk, where we feature the top medical practitioners in health and beauty, both inside and out. I have Cindy Mesa, a licensed esthetician and bridal makeup artist with a decade of experience helping clients achieve their desired results. Shortly after graduating with a psychology degree from the University of North Texas, Cindy received her esthetician license and started her own business providing corrective skincare treatments and professional makeup artistry. Cindy has helped hundreds of clients solve their concerns through education and a combination of using the correct skincare and makeup products. When not in the studio, Cindy loves to stay physically active by working out, playing soccer, and cooking healthy meals. So Cindy, welcome and glad to have you here.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so let's start at the very top level. How did you first get interested in, I'll call it the medical field?
Well, I first got interested whenever I was in esthetician school, and whenever I was in school, I thought I was just going to be providing like basic services. But once we dove into more advanced services, I was like, wow, I could really expand on this and see kind of what else is out there in the market. After I graduated from esthetician school, that's kind of whenever you get the most experience, is just kind of going out there and doing it and getting in the field. And that's whenever I started noticing, oh, there's other options like microneedling, dermaplaning, and just more on the medical side that I could do other than just kind of giving your normal facial treatments.
Okay. And so you started your own practice. What led you to want to start your own practice? I mean, why not just work somewhere else? Why start your own practice?
After I graduated from college, I really didn't know what I was going to do. I graduated with a psychology degree, and in order for me to kind of do more with that psychology degree, I needed to go back and go to grad school and specialize in something. And at that moment, I wasn't able to go back to college, and so I was like, let me just get a job and figure it out from here. And the first job that I got out of college was a direct sales type of job. So I was selling directly to people face to face. And within that job, they did a really great job at teaching me how to just sell basic items and be a self-starter, kind of manage my own campaign while I'm out in the field, kind of selling those products face to face outside of the office. So whenever I was doing that job, after about 3 or 4 months of doing that job, I was like, I would like to sell something beauty related, because I already knew that I wanted to do something beauty related at that time. I was like, I want to sell some skincare or some sort of beauty campaign that the company had. So after I stopped working at that job, then what I was like, okay, if I was selling all of these other little products, I could definitely find something in beauty to sell. So that introduced me into working at Sephora and kind of working my way up in the beauty industry, figuring out I could be an esthetician. And once I did go to esthetician school, within the book that they gave us, it said that you could be your own manager or your own business owner. And I was like, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to be my own business owner, and I want to be able to sell these skincare products and offer these services.
Awesome.
So that's
Okay.
a long-winded answer.
Yeah, no, it's a great story. So now that you have your practice, can you talk about what are the common treatments that your patients and your clients come to you for?
Yeah, a lot of my treatments are mostly acne based services. A lot of clients come in obviously with anti-aging concerns, hyperpigmentation concerns, but usually those all stem from having acne on their skin. It really just provides a lot of stress. a lot of stress happens on the skin whenever you have acne and causes that aging, causes that hyperpigmentation. So I first like to hone in on the acne that they have on the skin and get that cleared up. And once we kind of get their acne cleared up, I notice a big difference in just the overall health of their skin, the buoyancy of their skin, and how bright their skin gets throughout the time as well.
Okay. So with acne, I want to dive a little bit deeper into the acne side because I think that people that suffer from acne, it's a really big thing for them and they really want to fix it.
Definitely.
So when you think about acne, I mean, what comes to my mind is that, oh, it's somebody in their teenage years and they're just going through puberty and then they have this acne that they're trying to fix. But is that consistent with what you see with your clients? Like, are they just teenagers or do you also get older adults as well?
I get a lot of older, kind of like young, older adults within the 22 to 45-year range of clients that deal with acne. A lot of my clients who deal with severe acne, it usually started for them in that adolescent stage where they just started experiencing a lot of hormonal change that caused the acne to form. And a lot of my older adults who have kind of already passed that stage and they're like, I used to have acne, it kind of cleared up, but it's starting to come back. I notice now that it's more of like lifestyle habits that can contribute to the acne and also just not using the correct skincare products. Because typically with acne, it's a buildup of dead skin cells that causes the microcomedone to form, that impaction, and then it just kind of progressively gets worse as time goes on. And I usually find that clients don't use the full routine that they need to use to clear the acne. Usually it's like one or two products, but it really is like a full regimen that you need to start the process of killing that P. acnes or C. acnes bacteria. And there's just also so many other factors too, but usually I like to start with getting them on the right products.
Okay. And I will start there with the skincare products. I think that's one thing that there's a lot of um, misinformation about out there. Because I remember when I was younger and going through acne in my teen years, like I would get this liquid that would basically dry the crap out of my skin to try and dry
Yeah.
out the acne. And I think I had like another cream that was, I don't know what it did, but like it was supposed to like get rid of the acne also. So for people who just don't know where to start on skincare products, like, and there's all these ads, all these people on TikTok and Instagram saying, "Oh, I use this, I use this, I have this 20 product routine." So if people have no idea where to start, where would you recommend they start with the skincare, the products?
I would recommend to start with like a basic routine at first, getting at least a cleanser, an exfoliator. I would consider an exfoliator part of a basic routine just to start the process of removing that buildup of dead skin, getting on a really good moisturizer. And of course, sunscreen helps a lot to prevent more inflammation from forming in the skin cells. So I like to think of sunscreen as like a barrier protectant to really prevent the outside environment from affecting that acne. So if I can get a client on just exfoliating regularly, anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week, then they'll start to notice some progress with that. And after they get on a habit of doing an exfoliator, from there, I like to add in kind of corrective acne serums like a salicylic acid or a benzoyl peroxide type of cream. From there, the results kind of catapult and we can see the acne clear up sooner than later.
Okay. Now, if I'm the average person, I'm thinking, okay, Cindy, you're saying put sunscreen on, but I have this acne. I put sunscreen on, my face can be even more oily with the sunscreen, and I'm gonna get even more acne. What do you say if someone average person says that to you?
I always say moisturizer is absolutely necessary for the skin because moisturizer is what's going to help to heal and repair those skin cells, and it's also going to help to provide like it's going to soften up the skin cells so that way they can naturally fall off, because typically with acne skin and oily skin, you're pretty much producing 5 layers of skin a day versus somebody who has more normal skin. They usually produce about 1 layer of skin a day. And with that oiliness, it just makes those skin cells really sticky. And that's what causes that retention on the skin. But once you add in that hydration, it really softens up those skin cells and allows them to naturally fall off. And if you have that exfoliator in the routine too, that will kind of encourage those skin cells to slough off even more. And once you add in that sunscreen, you'll notice that the skin doesn't get as oily as you would assume. Typically with oily clients, they assume that oh, my skin's already oily. If I put on more, it's going to get even more oily. But I find the opposite is if you feed the skin with that nutrition, it's going to really trick that skin into thinking, oh, I'm already hydrated. I don't need to be producing as much oil as I did whenever I wasn't hydrated. So I like to explain to them that it tricks your skin into thinking it's already hydrated so it doesn't produce even more oil.
Okay.
And then adding in that sunscreen also just again creates that barrier and then adds to a little bit more hydration as well. So they'll find that they're not getting as oily throughout the day.
Okay. And that I want to dive a little bit deeper into that part of it because I think this is one misconception. This is actually something that I learned kind of talking to people about acne is that actually it's better to moisturize and hydrate your skin, and that will actually cause the acne to go away faster than trying to
Absolutely.
dry out the skin. Like I always thought it was like, oh, dry out the skin because the
Me
acne
too.
so just dry it out and it'll go away. But actually that makes it worse. So it's important that people hydrate their skin even or especially when they have acne. They do not want to dry out the skin too much.
Correct. Yeah, you have to really find a great balance of exfoliation and hydration. And typically for that more oily skin type, it can tolerate almost a daily exfoliation, but it really just depends on the type of product, whether that exfoliation comes from a physical scrub, a chemical exfoliant, within a cleanser, a toner, or a serum. And even moisturizers have them too. So it's just finding a right balance of it all. And that usually comes through trial and error.
Okay. And so we talked about the skincare products, but what are some other, I guess, tips you can call it that if someone's suffering from acne, what are some things that they can start to change in their everyday life that's kind of a broad scope? I'm sure that for every single person, they need something specific treatment, but kind of broad scope, what should they be aware of? Like sleep, drinking water, like foods, like what other
Yeah.
tips would you give to people on where to start?
I would definitely start with getting enough sleep. I notice within myself and with my clients who don't get enough sleep, the redness in the skin is just a little bit more persistent and the skin just looks dull and like lackluster of life. So starting off with the sleep will really get that skin to repair itself, to remove a lot of the toxins at nighttime, and just to really overall heal. So whenever you do use your products in the morning or evening, they can they can kind of work a little bit better with the skin, a skin that's healing throughout the night. I would also recommend to kind of be more aware of your skin. A lot of clients, whenever they come in and I initially ask them, how does your skin feel throughout the day? Dry, oily, a combination of the both, or you don't feel anything? A lot of them say, I really don't notice. So kind of just notice what's going on with your skin, and you feel like if whenever you're washing or cleansing, if it feels really dry, that means we need something a little bit more hydrating. So I like to tell my clients, pay attention to how your skin is feeling throughout the day. Just be a little bit more aware with that, and be a little bit more aware with your hands too, because a lot of the time clients who work at a desk are typing on the keyboard, moving the mouse around, and then they'll just kind of sit like this. And I know day after day they're not cleaning that mouse and that keyboard, and they might be snacking. So that's just kind of transferring that bacteria that can continually cause random breakouts on the skin. So those are some of the two that I would recommend: is definitely getting enough sleep, watching your habits, and kind of being more aware of how the skin feels and what we're doing with our hands.
Okay. And when it comes to food, I think kind of like the average person be like, okay, I just need to stop eating junk food or like McDonald's or something like that. Is
That
it
would
really
help.
as simple as that, or is there kind of something more that is maybe a little bit surprising when it comes to food, like don't eat this food or don't drink this drink that people would have not thought that, oh, this actually does not help my acne?
I think it really is just more dependent on the person it's themselves. Um, a lot of practitioners kind of do say like avoid eggs, avoid milk, and sometimes those things are triggers for some people and sometimes they're not. I like to focus on eating healthy foods, and I eat a ton of eggs. I eat eggs almost every single morning, at least three of them, and I feel like it just having the overall balance of healthy foods, enough protein in your diet, getting enough fats in your diet, and also getting enough carbohydrates. And I always tell my clients I recommend to do more fruity carbs and veggie carbs versus starchy carbs. And I personally give my clients a list of some protein that a list of protein that's really healthy, a list of fats that's really healthy, a list of the carbohydrates, and they're broken up into veggie carbs, fruity carbs, and starchy carbs. So I always tell my clients focus on the fruity carbs and the veggie carbs and try to avoid some of the starchy carbs. But if you do the starchy carbs, kind of mix that in with the veggie carbs and get a little bit more veggie than starchy. So I always like to have the full balance. And if from there, if they start to notice some things, then maybe eliminate that. And after a month, if they notice a difference, then from there, I would say, okay, that's probably something significant that's causing some inflammation in the skin.
Okay, got it. And so now you mentioned that you have a lot of clients that are adults, and so they've been dealing with acne kind of their whole lives. And I'm sure many of them suffer from acne scars.
Oh,
So
yeah.
for people that have acne scars, is there a way for them to really heal their acne scar so that it can either completely go away or completely be reduced? Because I think people that have suffered from this, maybe they just haven't found the right answer. And I think that's something that's in the back of their head. Can I ever fix this? Like, can I ever heal completely?
Absolutely. Yes. There are definitely options that you can do to help to improve the appearance of those acne scarring. Whenever I first initially started my esthetician career, I first learned on chemical peels. And personally, I struggled with acne in my teenage years going into my young adulthood. And it wasn't until I finished esthetician school that I pretty much had gotten my skin 90% clear. And that was through the use of chemical peeling. After being in the industry for a couple of years and realizing what other medical instruments were available to help me kind of accelerate those results, I brought on the skin pen microneedling. And the microneedling does an amazing job at just remodeling the skin cells and really helping to drastically improve the appearance of the acne scarring and even active acne in that matter. But as I've advanced in my career, the combination of doing microneedling with chemical peels, either within the same treatment or doing a series of microneedling treatments and then a series of chemical peels, I find that that works beautifully, and clients are really, really enjoying the results with that type of helping of the acne scarring.
Okay, got it. Now, I'm curious because I'm sure we talked about several misconceptions that people have about acne, acne scarring, acne treatment. What would you say is some other very common misconceptions or myths that you hear from your clients when it comes to acne and the treatment of it?
Yeah, some of the myths that I hear are probably like, honestly, let me think about this. Some of the myths that I hear are that their skin is gonna dry out too much, or a lot of the times clients want like those instant results. So they come in kind of thinking like, oh, if I just come in and do one treatment, everything is going to be cleared out. She's going to be able to extract every pore that I have. And then the next day, my skin's going to be better. But really, acne is such a long process. I like to think of acne like a wound. And we're in the process of healing that wound, kind of clearing out that wound and healing it up. So I always tell my clients it's going to take some time. We can definitely clear up the acne anywhere within 3 months. But if we don't clear up that acne within the 3 months, it will definitely be a more prolonged process. So clients like to come in and kind of think like, for example, I do makeup, and a lot of the times that's instant results where you kind of see the makeup and you're like, wow, those results are really great. I feel like sometimes clients come in thinking that way, like, oh, I just did one treatment. This is for sure going to clear up my acne, but it's a time process because the skin is it's an organ. So we're just really going to have to heal and treat that organ.
Okay. And so, Cindy, let's say that someone is looking for help with fixing their acne, whether it's acne scars or just getting rid of acne, and they're looking for a provider who can help them, who has the knowledge, has experience, and can get them those great results. What advice would you give to that person as they're doing their search so they can find that right provider for them?
Definitely if the provider gives them information on the service, I recently had a client reach out to me from Houston. She was getting a microneedling service done, but their provider didn't provide them with any aftercare. So they searched online, found my website, and saw that I provided an aftercare kit for microneedling. And so she had purchased that and had called me. And whenever I answered, she was telling me about the procedure that she was going to get. So as long as the provider provides a lot of information about how to prep the skin before providing that service, how to what products to use for post care after the service, and also what products to use after the skin has healed to be able to prolong those results even longer. So as long as the provider is really communicative with the patient and providing a lot of education. I like to provide my clients with a lot of education with what they should be doing before, what they do immediately after, and the skincare after everything has healed. So that way they can have the maximum results and not feel like they've wasted their money.
Okay, got it. Now,
Mhm.
I'm sure that Cindy, throughout your experience, you've run into some challenging cases or even very memorable cases. So, is there maybe one story that you can share of one of those cases that you worked on and how you were able to get them a successful result in the end?
Yes, I had a young client. She was going into her junior year of high school and she was dealing with really severe acne. So it was definitely a process to kind of get her to use her products. That was the challenging part, was having her use her skincare products consistently and telling her, just stay on this routine. If you stay on it consistently, we can definitely see those results sooner than later. It did take several months for her to kind of get into the habit of getting into the routine. And then after several months of her getting into that habit, when she would come in to get her treatments, I could immediately tell, oh, you've been using your products at home, right? And she's like, yeah, I've been really diligent about using it every day. Before she would come in and say, oh, I was only able to kind of cleanse and moisturize, or I was only able to kind of do this one serum. So I would just remind her, try to stay as diligent as possible, staying really consistent with the at home skincare, because you're touching your face twice a day versus coming into the treatment room once every 2 weeks. I won't get to I won't get to give you the results that you're wanting if the at home care isn't there. And thankfully, she also had a mom that was really diligent about reminding her to do her skincare routine. And as she kind of got older, she really started to, I guess, comprehend what I was telling her. Sometimes with teenagers, it's kind of like you hear all of the information and you're just like, okay, you're trying to take it all in. But as she got older, she started to really feel that insecurity with her skin. So she really started to pay attention to some of the advice that I was giving and staying very diligent with the routine, and turned it into kind of like at night and in the morning ritual, or what do you call it? Just like a routine to follow versus like not doing anything.
Okay, got it. So now also, Cindy, I want to ask you, where do you think the future of aesthetics is going?
Definitely the future of aesthetics. I see a lot of machines coming out and a lot of different modalities. Um, I think there is going to be a peak to that where a lot of patients are coming in and doing the machines, doing all of those different modalities. And there's going to be a point where they're going to want to come back to get a little bit more of a relaxing type of service. Um, and get more of that hands-on experience. So I see the industry kind of getting to a peak of using machines, and those will still definitely be available. But I feel like clients are going to want to get a little bit more of the hands-on, get more of that physical touch on the skin versus just solely relying on machines. And I like to provide a mix of that type of service. I like my services to be very corrective, but at the same time, very relaxing. That's just the way that I learned it in my esthetician school. We definitely focus on making sure we are using the right products to get the results that the clients needed, but at the same time, you could literally fall asleep.
Oh, that's nice. That's then
Mhm.
there's no pain if you can fall asleep during it.
Right.
Okay. Now, with that in mind, what is your vision for your practice?
My vision for my practice, I would definitely like to bring on more skincare lines to my practice. And I can definitely see myself bringing on more modalities to provide a lot of help for some of my clients. I know there's one modality that helps to improve the redness in the skin for rosacea clients. So I'd like to bring on a few more skincare lines, actually, several skincare lines. With my history of working at Sephora, I'm really used to having a lot of options. So I'd like to have even more options for my clients, bring more advanced technologies into my practice, and then continue to grow and move into bigger spaces, and then start hiring.
Okay,
That's definitely the future of my business that I see.
awesome. Well, Cindy, I have one last question for you, but before I ask it, I do want to point people to your website at cindymezaesthetics.com.
Thank you.
Now, last question for you. What does beauty mean to you?
Beauty means to me is feeling the confidence within your own skin. That is my motto. And I have that written at the top of my Instagram page, to find confidence within the skin that you're in. And to me, whenever you feel beautiful, you just feel confident. Whenever you have those skincare concerns that are addressed, you just radiate and exude that confidence, and you can move throughout your life with a sense of confidence and just holding your head up and just living to the fullest without having to feel shrunken in, insecure, or always thinking about that specific concern. So, whether clients come in for skincare help or help with their makeup application, I really like to tell them that they're beautiful no matter what. We can solve this problem. This isn't something that there's no solution to, and that once we do get you to a state of where you're really confident in your skin, it's just going to apply that confidence in the other parts of your life to help you live a more fulfilled life.
Awesome. Well, there you have it. Cindy sharing her expertise. So, Cindy, where can people contact you and your business?
You can contact me through my website and also through my phone number, 806-420-8866. And you can also send me an email at Cindy at cindymesaesthetics.com. You could also find me on Google if you search my name on Google Maps, Cindy Mesa Aesthetics. You'll be able to find all of my contact information on there as well.
Awesome. Well, Cindy, this was amazing. Thank you for coming on and thank you for shedding some light on acne treatments. I think a lot of people still have a lot of misinformation about it. So thank you for coming on and thank you for sharing your message.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Beauty Talk podcast. Any questions, please contact the practice directly with the contact information provided during the show. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.